What is up, you guys? Happy Friday. I'm excited for a lot of you all because you just have to get past this day of work and then you are off for the weekend. But I have to go to work. So, yeah, this is like my Monday. But anyways, again, happy Friday to you all. And for those of you who are new to the podcast, I would like to say welcome to the Connect 0007 podcast, where human connection is everything. And I am your host, Thaddeus Sims. And we are on our 30th podcast episode. And it is titled Who You Are. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you guys that this podcast is going to be a bit different. And I say that because usually, it'll come to me and I write the podcast out, whatnot. But this time my intuition was just saying, okay, yeah, sit down. I'm like, okay. And write the title, Who You Are. And I'm like, okay, this feels different. I'm literally giving you guys a full insight into my world. So I'm just like, okay, this feels different. All right. And it's just telling me, okay, so this is what you're going to, like, literally it was just giving me word for word. This is what you're going to write down. And I'm like, okay, this is in my head. I'm like, this isn't normally how I do it, but I'm open to change and I'm not going to deny. So let's do this. Now, for some of you all, you're like, oh, okay, you pretty much channeled all of the information. Of course. And for some of you who don't know what that is, that's just pretty much like when you're connected with Source, God, whatever it is you want to call it. You get information and you just, do it. We've all been there before. So, you may just get something or something may come to you and you just say it. So it's kind of like that, but just full on word for word. So I just wanted to give you guys that. So welcome to the train with me on this. Now, before going on to what my intuition told me to do, so if y'all don't like it, it's my intuition. Don't blame me. I'm blaming it. I can't really do that because it's me. Whatever. Anyways. All right. So before going into this, I had to share the fun fact. And honestly, this was shocked me. It shocked me a lot. And it really made me laugh, though I didn't go through this. So I think I'm exempt. But this one really made me laugh. So here you go. Cats bring you dead animals because they think you're just a crappy cat that can't survive on its own. So in reality, cats bring you presents. And I literally got so much life by laughing at this because I'm just like, I hear people say their cats bring in dead things all the time. And now it's like, wow, your cat really thinks you're a crappy cat. Like, I can't wait to find someone. I'm praying. I'm speaking to this in the universe. Please let me happen to be walking down the street or somewhere and I hear someone says, well, Jennifer, it never fails. Every time I go home, little, what are we going to call the cat? Little Poppy always brings me like dead things. And I'm like, little Poppy, stop it. And I just want to be the one like, hey, did you know that when little Poppy brings you dead things, he thinks that you're a crappy cat, that you can't survive on your own. So he's bringing you a present. Oh my gosh. She might not take that the right way. I mean, I'm obviously going to use some people skills and, say that the best way I can, but I cannot wait for the opportunity for this. Like, you guys have no idea. I'm excited about this. Like, this is going on the list here, not a bucket list, but I want to do this. But okay, all right. Let's get back to the podcast. Okay, so let's begin. Now, again, guys, you'll see. Whatever. All right, let's begin. All right, so we are living in a time where there is so much change and opportunities that if we don't know who we are, we can miss out on these opportunities. Opportunities to make a mark on the world, influence people, grow ourselves, and so on. So the first thing I would like for you to do is ask yourself, who are you? and see what comes to you. Now, I'm going to be doing this with you. So when I was writing this down, I asked myself, okay, who am I? And immediately what came to me is I am a connector. So I was like, okay, that makes sense, you know. Now for you, I also, with the questions, if it works best for you to if you can, I don't know if you guys are driving, but if it works best for you to pause it and then ask yourself the question and then move on, by all means go. And some of you may need to listen to it all the way through and then rewind it and then pause it. So, by all means, whatever works for you. So that was the first question. Ask yourself who you are and see what comes to you. Now, the next thing is, with all the change going on in the world, are you taking advantage of it? Second question, are you applying who you are to the world and taking advantage of these opportunities? I had to ask myself, and the answer to the first question is yes. I am, with all the change in the world, I am taking advantage of it. And then it was yes again to are you applying who you are to the world and taking advantage of these opportunities? And it was a yes, but I was being honest with myself. I was like, yes, still have lots to learn, though, being honest. That's what I always feel. I have lots to learn. Okay. Next question. Are you giving to yourself? Are you meeting your requirements? And then the next question is, are you excelling at who you are? Again, I had to ask myself this, and it was yes to all three. And so, if you answered yes to all these questions, congratulations. You're excelling at who you are and what you do. If you answered yes to some and no to some, take the time to reflect on this. And if you heard Tuesday's podcast, which is the last podcast, the podcast before this, I talked about reflection. So there you go. And if you answer no to all of these, ask yourself, are you okay with this? If not, reflect. If yes, you're still being who you are. Now, some of you are like, how? How is that? Like, how, right? Like, okay, you said, I'm confused here with that. Like, yes, okay, but no? Like, you're still being who you are? Well, yes. So here you go. We are all different, and we come together. And when we come together, we create opportunities of growth, reflection, and change in one another. Now, how to do this effectively is by knowing who you are and standing in that firmly. When you do, you can meet people from all different walks of life and respect who they are, knowing that they are different from you and will in some way create the opportunities of growth, reflection, and change, be it small or large, that will help you be more of who you are. And simply, we do this every day. Now, I'm going to give you some examples because, hearing this is like, okay, what the heck? I feel like this is a very different flow of how I normally do things. But when I took a moment when my intuition stopped and I took a moment when I answered these questions, it ultimately came back down to the focus of, number one, who you are. And then making you be aware that there is lots of changes, around the world, that there's opportunities for us to take advantage of, for us to grow and change. So I'm walking you guys through this as I was gaining, what my intuition, I guess, was trying to do here. And yeah, there's these opportunities, but for us to fully maximize and take advantage of these opportunities, around us and going with this change, is that we first have to know who we are. And if you don't know who you are, it can be very hard to really get yourself centered and get yourself in a place to have open hands to receive these opportunities, Because if you don't know who you are, you don't really know what to look for. And now I'm just going to kind of walk you through it and then give you some examples with myself. So for me, my answer was I am a connector. And so I know, okay, that's who I am. So that gives me a place to be centered. And I know, okay, that's where I really need to stay at, things that revolve around connecting. And I know for me, because of who I am, connector is in many different forms. So I need to stay connected, whatever, and so forth. Whatever your answer is, stay in that arena. Stay there. You don't need to go anywhere else. Stay there. Now, then the next set of questions, with the change going in the world, are you taking advantage of it? And are you taking advantage of the opportunities? So you have to ask yourself. Now, for me, I'm a connector. So am I taking advantage? It's like, yes, I am taking advantage with all the change that's going on in the world, because for me, being a connector, I can connect social media. I can connect with people who, I meet at grocery stores or every day, in my life, or when I go out in nature, I meet people. Heck, really taking it deep when I connect, I know I can connect with my ancestors. I can connect with nature. I can connect with spirit. I'm a connector. So I am taking advantage with all of this change. Another thing is opportunities. So there are opportunities for me to connect. I believe, yes, I talked about it before earlier this year, a month or two ago. There was an opportunity to go to a conference. And in there, I met awesome people. And actually, the person that I interviewed last was Stephanie Lahart, and she was one of those people that I connected with. So again, I know, okay, I'm taking advantage of the opportunities that come to me to do that. Now, this is, again, for you, what is it that you're taking advantage of, depending on whatever your answer is? And if so, you got to ask yourself, are you taking advantage of it? If not, reflect on that. How can you, and that's what I'm getting with that. So the next set of questions was, are you giving to yourself, meeting your requirements, and excelling at who you are? And I feel that is more, that time, like knowing who you are. Are you doing the things that you need to for yourself? Be it, are you giving to yourself? So all of my answers were yes. Are you giving to yourself? That can be in many different forms. Self-love. Are you making sure you're taking the time to take care of yourself? Rest, relaxation, exercise, whatever it is, being around good people, making the right decisions. Are you giving to yourself? Are you meeting your requirements? I have requirements for my health, be it eating right environment, staying away from toxic people, being constantly saying good things about myself, making sure I get myself right first before I can help anyone else. There's requirements that I have for me to be me. And then are you excelling at who you are? I mentioned it before in my previous podcast that I love to expand. And so I have to expand. Now, again, this goes back to now who you are. Are you giving to yourself to be who you are? Are you meeting the requirements that you have for yourself to be who you are? Be it whatever it is that you choose for yourself. And are you excelling at that? Are you doing things daily? Are you expanding? Different things like that. And now I believe what was pretty interesting, but my intuition did here, was it broke it down in 3 ways. Meaning, like, if you answered yes, all of these, it's like a congrats. You're doing what you need to do. And then for those who may have answered yes to some and no to some, it was just like, okay, reflect on that. Reflect on the things that you said no to. It helps you to really understand who you are or whatever it is you may need to reflect on or work on. And what I found was the tricky part when I was writing this, I was kind of like, was what it said, if you answer no to all of this and ask yourself, not nobody else, but ask yourself, are you okay with this? If you're not, then reflect. I understood that part. But the part that threw me for a loop was saying, if yes, like you're okay, like if you answer no to all of this, and if you ask yourself if you are okay with this and you say yes, then you are still being who you are. And that was kind of like, what? Like how? Like you just like we just, I was just like, but we just say yes to all this. So how is it that you can say no to all of this and still be who you are? And then that's when it brought it together, saying like we're all different. And it's just like stopping there. It's like everyone is different. We're all different people. So certain things that work for you may not work for others. What you may think is the way is not the way for others. And knowing that, it's kind of like once you get that understanding that we are all different and okay, this works for me and this is who I am, but I know this is not going to work for you and this is not who you are. So there's that understanding and there's that acceptance that we are all different. And I feel before I even go further, what's my intuition is just like, you need to be okay with that part first. You need to have that like at the forefront of your mind, that every person you meet is different. You may have some similar backgrounds in some ways, but everybody is different. Who they are is different than who you are. And that was okay, I get that. That is sometimes we forget that and that can cause some issues, but staying with, okay, they're different from me. And it puts you in a space of openness and not closed-minded, and you're able to see more. And I believe what my intuition was doing even more was it put me in a position, and you all, I believe, it put us in a position where it's like, okay, now with that understanding, when we come together with all these different people, we then create opportunities of growth, reflection, and change in one another. And it's by knowing who you are and knowing that these people are different that these opportunities can come about. Now, I said at the end, we do this every day. And some of the examples are, I know for me, I am a connector. So I meet people who are completely different from me. There are people I know who absolutely don't care to connect with people. And, a part of me is just like, well, we're human. Like we're social creatures. And I had to understand that, there are some people, they're social-ish. And there's some people who are not at all. And they are completely okay with that because they just don't like dealing with people. They prefer to be alone. They prefer to be in nature, and that's who they are. And that created this growth for me to understand that there are some people who are like that, and that is okay, because at the time I'm like, but you don't like to connect with people? Like what? And that allowed me to grow and understand, okay, I get that. So for you may be someone, whoever you are, you may meet other people who are completely the opposite, of who you are. And when you meet those people and understand that they're different, it allows you to have the opportunity to know and to grow from that. Another thing is it creates the opportunities of reflection. So, like I said, I can meet people who are completely opposite of me, and it allows me to reflect on, wow, okay, I wonder, like, why is that? And when I reflect, I come to find that I am also a bit like that as well. To be honest with you guys, I'm completely an ambivert. Like, I know you hear introvert and extrovert, but there's also an ambivert, and I'm that person. I am both social and I'm also antisocial, meaning like my brother talks about it all the time. Like, he was like, why is it that you don't like City Place or this city? I'm like, I don't like being around a lot of people like that. And a lot of you might be like, what? And you do a whole podcast on how to connect with people. I know that, but I know that I am an ambivert. So there are times where I like to be around people, but it's specific. Like, okay, if I'm going to be around a group of people, then I know, okay, we're all kind of doing the same thing here. We're all shooting for the same goal. And all these people are like-minded. So, of course, I would love to be around all these people. But at the same time, I don't like the city because it's traffic. There's too many people. I don't care for it. And that in that regard, I'd rather have like my home be somewhere where I'm not around a lot of people So for me, it's like Loxahatchee area or somewhere that's like in nature. It's like, okay, that is my time to get away from people. That is my me time. But I would love to be, close to the city where I can, okay, it's 15 minutes away. I can drive and choose to be social. So, that also, there's that part too, but that came into that reflection of meeting people who are, antisocial. I'm like, well, I'm like that too. And that led me to discover that I am ambivert because of that reflection. Look it up. And then also change, opportunities of change. And I say that because, again, people are different. I've met other people on the flip side who are very social like me. And I would see how they were when they were social to people. So before I was, who I was before, there were some people, they just connected with anybody, be it someone off the streets, be it, someone who looked like they got money, be it business owners. And it caused change in me because I've met people who just, they really good at connecting with people, but they would just talk to anybody. And I was just like, I don't know about that. Like, I ain't finna talk to just anybody. And that caused a change in me because I know, okay, I'm investing my energy into certain people. And certain people I don't need to invest my energy in. So that allowed some change to go on for me. And I feel as though the whole point of this whole thing here that was in this podcast episode is to, one, know who you are. And once you do that, you will discover and you will meet other people who are completely different from you. And when you do that, it's going to cause these different opportunities, and these opportunities will lead to bigger things for yourself. But I believe first you have to have that understanding that we are all different of who we are. And we have to accept and understand that. And once we do, we are now allowing ourselves to grow deeper into who we are and also to reflect and to change. And I feel like this is just natural harmony with those around us and creating harmony and cooperation versus us being in disharmony and creating competition and all types of crazy things that we're seeing around the world today. And again, I go back to, we are social creatures and we can learn a lot from each other, but this pushes us in a different, I wouldn't say energy, so to speak, of just, again, cooperation, understanding, acceptance, and knowledge. Again, we're all different. But I'm going to say again, we do this every day. But now that this is more aware to you, you have more of choice and a power behind how you want to do this. So you literally I would say just from this podcast, you literally just got the power upgrade to decide, okay, do I want to have growth and reflection and change in my life with the people around me, or do I choose to, not do that? And either or, what I'm getting from this is that either or, whatever you choose, you're right. Whatever you choose is who you are, and it's completely okay. And I think we have to say that, man, hey, it's okay to be who you are. If this works for you, it doesn't. If this does, hey, there you go. And this will change, But ultimately, you have to get to that first spot of asking yourself, who are you? And once you do that, you put yourself in a position of power. You put yourself in a position of recognizing opportunities and many things. So I believe that is what my intuition wanted me to just share with you guys. I know this is a bit different, but looking at it, I can say I definitely do this every day when I meet all types of different people. I feel it's very automatic for all of us, but now it's just being made more aware. We can reap more of the benefits of it now that we know. So with that being said, guys, happy Friday. You enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend. And again, like I like to end all my podcasts, I pray for whatever it is that you have been asking for, you get whatever it is that you're working on. I pray that it comes through. Obviously, you get a huge breakthrough. I pray that you guys get closer to discovering who you are, what you love. And I just pray for overall for your success. So with that being said, I will talk to you Tuesday. Alrighty, you guys, you have a fantastic day. Talk to you later.